So how's everyone doing? What's going on?
So far, so good. I'm doing a podcast right now, but then I'm
Oh,
gonna go,
really?
yeah, then I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
go paint
Mm-hmm.
a foot tall uh 3D model of one of the characters from my book
Awesome.
to put
I
on
thought you were gonna
tables
say
at
like paint a
conventions.
room.
Just gonna go paint a room,
You
you
know,
know.
some
Yeah,
walls,
That's the
yeah.
ceilings.
painting I do, by the way, and it's terrible.
It is bad.
I've painted a room or two. It's
Yeah,
not
same.
it's not
I
fun.
painted this
Is
one.
it the same thing?
I painted this room. Yeah.
I You can't even see my walls. We did not paint this room. I'm in what my wife, so this is the backdrop I use when I do voiceover. It's
Mhm.
like one of those sound curtains.
Yeah.
My wife calls it my fart palace. Um,
Oh, nice.
so
Very nice.
because, doesn't really let out air very well. So
It's
I'm gonna be sweating by the end of this.
very, very nice.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
that's good content.
that is good content. So you'll be painting later after you're a nice sweaty mess. And
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you do a lot of painting miniatures?
I don't actually. This is only the second one, and it's literally the same character as before. The first one was when I was making a display for doing at conventions. Okay, so for my book, I have a whole, like a ton of characters. I had a friend who was like, "Oh, can I sculpt one of these?" I'm like, "Sure." And so they sculpted it, and then as part of payment that I did for a Kickstarter for these guys that did a new 5e campaign book. They had like STL files and everything. As part of my payment, they printed me an army of these characters. And so I painted one of the 3-inch models. And then I built a display, like a treasure box around it and everything. And it looks really cool. Um, but then I'm like, I need something like this year. I'm like, I need something because I'm going to be doing conventions more full time. I need something to really catch people's attention. So another friend of mine printed me a foot tall version of the same character. It's like a baby. It's like holding a baby that's smoking a pipe. Um,
You know, to
Babies
each his
too.
own.
I mean, yeah, you know what? Teach me young.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I'm in the process of painting it up so it looks good on the table. So we'll see how that goes. It's only the second time I've done it, so
that's really cool.
yeah.
That's really cool.
It'll hopefully it'll be good.
Well, I mean, we'll get into it, but I think you do have some talent with art. I don't know, maybe a little.
A little bit.
Have you,
I'm
well,
more of a mathematician, honestly.
okay, true. Right, right, right. Well,
Yeah.
let's welcome everyone to this episode of the Mathematician Minute. My name is Sarah. We have our guest, Gary Laib, and of course, I'm joined by Jonathan. This actually is the Parking Lot podcast, and our guest today is the incredibly talented illustrator, artist, voiceover actor, teacher, comic book artist, character designer. Did I miss anything? Mathematician,
It's the lowest on.
miniature baby cigar smoking painter.
Uh-huh. 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 These are
Um,
all facts.
okay, all facts. Well, thank you, Gary. Welcome. We are so excited and absolutely honored to have you here talking with us today.
My
Yeah.
pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. We don't normally do like a title of the episode. We
Mm-hmm.
just do like the artist that or the person that we're featuring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I have two conflicting titles if we ever to use it. One, Fart Palace, and then
Mm.
two, Mathematician Minutes, I think.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Mathematician's Minute. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Or the mathematician's fart palace.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah,
See? And that's why you're on, because only good ideas.
yeah.
That's right. That's right. Just keep throwing them out there. You're very welcome. I'll see you guys.
We're
This has
going
been
to
fun.
be. And thank you for everyone for watching another episode of the Parking Lot Podcast.
Hmm.
Well, again, thank you for joining us. We'll figure out the title in post-production. We'll let you know what we do. So that way you can definitely promote such an epic title of a podcast and really connect your name with this quality content we have here at
Yeah,
Legends of the Tabletop.
it's a high bar.
It,
It's a high bar.
we set the bar really high for our podcast. Well, I am a huge art nerd. My grandfather is an artist. Both of my parents did calligraphy and photography, and I went to school for art. So I was super excited to connect with you. Also, a huge shout out to Nat 20 Dicery for connecting us with you. You guys met them at a con. We love Rob and Poe. And I just wanted to kind of get some of your origin story, your backstory. How did you come into being this incredible artist that you are today?
I was I was born on a cold December night,
Mhm.
and no, I started drawing like when I could hold a pencil. So like
Really?
4 years old, maybe. Just copying pictures in out of books and you know those learn to draw books you see when you're a kid that's like how to draw monsters, and they had the steps like you draw the circle, then you draw the blah blah blah. I just skipped to the last image in the instruction and just copied what I
I'll teach
saw.
you kids how to draw.
That's right. Um, and and then yeah, I moved to LA after I graduated high school, not specifically for art, but for acting, and music, and also art, as well as magic, because I'm also a magician. Surprise, that wasn't on the thing.
That was not in
Um,
my intro.
I'm a wizard, Harry. Uh, a Harry
All right,
wizard.
keep your secrets.
And I struggled in LA. I lived in LA for 6 years, so 2002 to about 2008, and I struggled. It was hard because I had no money to really do anything. I was working at one point. I was working like five part-time jobs to stay afloat, while learning what digital art was because I'd never touched that. I didn't go to art school, by the way. I just went to a regular four-year college. So everything that I've done has I've taken classes obviously here and there, but it's just been something that I've done my entire life. Um, but that also had its limitations because I didn't know anything. I I I moved out from Wisconsin and uh, was just a small fish in a very 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 large pond, and it became kind of a struggle living there. I made a lot of contacts. I'd started doing. I'd worked in comic books. I don't know if you guys are familiar with comics, but my first gig in comics, and my only one at that point, was with a guy named Steve Stern, who created Zen Intergalactic Ninja. And it's an independent comic, and but it's been going for over 20 years. It's pretty incredible. Maybe 30 years, early 90s. I don't remember, but and he and I were introduced, and he had this project to do a historical graphic novel about the financing of the American Revolutionary War. Not the war itself, just the exchanging of monies. And it was the final result was not good. And that's because I was not good. I, I, it was terrible. Um, but it was good. I was getting paid to sort of like learn, which was cool. But I had random odd jobs here and there. We're doing some stuff for TV. I did some work for the TV show Bones. Um, and then I um, sort of got lost in having to stay afloat, having to find work. And the last job I worked at um, was sort of like I can't even remember which one was my last job. I think it was an effects house, but I wasn't an artist there. I was a runner, so I was sort of maintaining the shop and going out and buying things for other artists, which driving around LA all day is terrible. And then I called a friend up who I said, I got to get out of here. I had nothing left tying me to LA. I need a career. I'm kind of dying here. And so he called his friend who was working at a small video game company called SGN, and they were located in Palo Alto, which is South Bay, so like an hour and a half from here. And they brought me up from LA for a week as like a test run to see if I could do the work. And at the end of the week, they liked what I did, and they're like, "We want to offer you a position. Here's what we're offering you as far as a salary is concerned. And I'd never seen numbers that big. I'd never seen a salary before. And so they're like, go back to LA, pack your shit, move up here. I just swore, I don't know if we can do that on this podcast, but I did.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that started my gaming career. I started as a concept artist, and after that company, they had a big round of layoffs. I moved on to a company called Making Fun, who was still around, but I was there for like 3 years. I became their art director after a while. Um, I jumped from company to company from about 2009 to 2016, and I was a concept artist, I was a lead artist, I was an art director, and then just went back to being like a senior concept artist because that's where I truly felt like I was participating. Like I didn't like delegating. I didn't like telling people what to do and then just sitting back and waiting for art to come. It was not, I wasn't happy doing that. So, but in 2016, I left full-time work because I was driving an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to work one way. So spending 4 hours in traffic easily in a day to get to a job that didn't really appreciate me. Um, and yeah, so with my wife's blessing, I started freelancing and I've been able to work with so many more different people on so many cool projects. Like I worked on a Ralph Lauren commercial, like a holiday spot for a Ralph Lauren commercial, which the end result is great, but it was basically designing paper cutouts of New York, the city, not the upstate area.
Right. We're,
Um,
not in the Hudson Valley.
yeah, not Hudson Valley.
You probably heard of
Sorry.
us.
Sorry, Hudson Valley. Um, uh, but I got to work for Blizzard on Diablo 4 on their book, the Book of Lorath, which is the company made book for Diablo 4. So I got to do illustrations for them. I worked for most recently Wizards of the Coast, doing my first Magic card. Well, actually, I've done two Magic cards, but one will never see the light of day because that project kind of got shelved. So, but my first one released this year actually with the Tarkir expansion. So I'm really excited about that. But I primarily left full-time employment because I wanted to focus on my own stuff because working for other people was getting me nowhere. I always thought, oh, I just need to be at the right company. I need to work at a bigger company. And this is where I'll make my mark. This is where I'll make a name for myself. No, it didn't. It didn't happen for me that way. Um, and I found I was happiest when I was able to focus on myself really, and working on writing and illustrating my own young adult fantasy series, the first of which will hopefully I'm kickstarting it later this year. Um, and then after I'm really excited. I'm really excited. So it was a really long answer to one question, wasn't it?
No, it was
Basically,
good.
I've been at it.
We're good.
I've been at it for 20 years. And I have so much going on right now. The the hard part is that the industry as a whole for artists, for creatives, has tanked in the past couple of years. It's gone down considerably, and there's very little work, and the people that are hiring, it's hard to tell if they're actually hiring or if they're just resume farming, and it's been sort of it's taken a downward turn. So especially this year, financially not so great, creatively fantastic. Couldn't ask for more. Um, so yeah, that's sort of my career in a nutshell. There's a bunch more in there, but yeah, hopefully that's a good place to start.
It's a good place to start. I mean, you've done pretty much everything, and I think it's quite amazing that you didn't go to a university or an art school, college for what you're doing now. And even if the industry, like you said, right now might be challenging, I think that's something really important for people to realize is that you can take your talent and you can work at it and practice and become really amazing at it. And if it's something that you're passionate about something that you love, and you make the connections and just start talking to people, you can have success, and you can be successful at doing something that you enjoy, which is what you do now.
Yeah. Yeah, I do what I love. I'm really, really fortunate in that. I have built a very long career out of it. And I've gotten to do some really, really amazing things. And I think with young artists, either they don't get told by their teachers or their schools that they attend, um, that the hard part of the business is that even when you're not working for a company, you're still a professional artist. The moment you graduate, you have to start thinking, this is now my business. This is what I do now, and treating it as such. And that means networking. That means attending events. That means getting your art out there, putting your name out there, not just working on your portfolio and sending it off to companies like faceless companies. It's about putting your face out there so people start to see you. And we're in a time, historically, where that's more easy than ever. Easier than ever. Let's put it that way. Uh, there's just so many options for sharing your work, and getting your name out there, and then also what they don't understand is, or they don't realize is, usually when a student graduates, typically they're done. They go out into the world and they seek their fortune, but they don't realize that, oh wait, I don't have my community, my school community that I had before. What am I supposed to do? Um, and that's where you build. You have to start building your community, which is what networking is. Not every connection is going to be a job, but some connections are going to be other artists who are in the same boat, where you lift each other up and help each other build each other's career. What's the boat, and rising tide raises all
Rising
ships.
tide, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's never more true than it is for when you're starting out your career in art.
I think Jonathan and I would both agree with that. I mean, we haven't been doing this very long at Legends of the Tabletop, and the connections that we have made through networking, going to different gaming conventions, connecting with companies such as Eldritch Foundry, and like everyone in social media that we've connected with, Nat 20 Dicery obviously connecting us with you. It's been really incredible, the generosity that we've seen, and just people being so kind in giving us information and so freely giving us these incredible connections. And even if it doesn't necessarily bring in money to the business immediately, these are connections that we have at our foundation that we will most certainly be using for years to come. And like you said, the rising tide, we're all in this together. If we're successful, if you're successful, you're on our podcast, this is going to be beneficial for us. And
Yeah.
that's really important. John's laughing, but
You're like, it's successful for us
it's
because
success. No, because I mean, people don't know who Jonathan and Sarah are from Legends of the Tabletop, but they know who you are.
yeah,
No, that they don't. But that's what we're shooting for together, right?
yeah, rising tides, right?
Well, we
Yeah.
think people know who you are because we thought you were
Yeah,
really successful and amazing and talented. So that's why we wanted to
It's
have you here today.
it's all a facade. You would
It's a
think you
sham.
would think.
you are super talented.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I think that especially people, and I can say collectively, for the three of us in our industry, because we are technically in the same industry, and I don't count that as like video games or anything. Gaming in general, and your collective nerdery is it is one industry, and it is an industry that is very accepting of everybody, and everybody wants people to each other to succeed, because you know it, 20 plus years ago, it wasn't that easy for us to succeed because we were nerds. We were geeks, you know, in the
Yeah.
valley. Um,
In the Hudson Valley.
in the Hudson Valley. It's going to come up so much. Uh, but yeah,
What you don't know is that I play a character on our table, and she speaks exactly like that. So you're
That's
nailing it for my character on table. Yeah.
loosely
why
based
have
off
you not
of
said that then? Yeah.
loosely based off of Alexis Rose from Schitt's Creek.
Oh my
David.
God. That's one of the,
Oh My
Best
God.
shows. I
Yeah.
love that show so much. Ugh,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah, so I play a cleric, and she that's
He
how
has
she
the big
speaks.
hat for it as well.
My God, like a derby hat, like
Like a
I'm gonna
big
go
sun
grab it real
hat.
quick. Hold on one
Like
second.
an
yeah.
incredibly oversized sun hat. It's absolutely ridiculous. The episode
Is he
that
getting the hat?
he's getting it. The episode
Oh
that he
yes.
debuted this hat, none of us knew that he had this hat. Not one single
No,
person on the table. And he pulled it out from underneath the table and put it on his head during the recording during our session.
that's glorious.
Yeah,
Oh
just
my
It only
God.
took up half the side of his table.
yeah. Uh,
It's epic. Why would you why would you ever not wear that hat? Outside like even outside of gaming.
While he's doing
just
mowing the
walking
lawn
around the
on a
street.
Sunday.
I
He has the
know.
hat on.
Protected from the sun's harmful rays forever from every angle,
For
head to
every
toe.
angle.
Head to toe in the shade of your hat. Wow.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm
But
envious.
I mean, this nerd
I can get
community
you.
is really great, and they are super
Mhm.
super I would say generous, community driven, accepting, just and there's everyone's so excited to find someone else that enjoys RPGs, TTRPGs, some sort of like nerd based art, anything. They're like, "Oh, did you just say initiative? Like, were you just talking about dice? Did I hear you talk about D&D? Tell me more. What do you know?"
I I love that, and I love it reminded me like well, of something that my friends and I have been talking about, where the industry as a whole, the entertainment industry has taken such a nosedive that they've made with the advent of cursed generative AI, all that stuff, which we don't have to get into that. That's a huge. Uh, the industry has never made it more clear that and I'm going to put this in quotes, they don't need us, because they can just have, you know, they can just have computers do everything. But in truth, and this, I think this goes across the board with our industry as a whole, is that we don't need them to do what we do. We are the ones who can we can make the movies, we can do the animations, we can make the games, we can make the TTRPGs, we can do all of it because we do all of it anyway. So if we can come together and start building our own industry, oh my God, it would be so cool. It would be so cool to be like, bye bye, Hollywood, bye
Yeah.
bye. We're just going to do this ourselves now.
A nerdy revolution.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of us. Even Jonathan, we started this business. Our friend was originally producing all of our content. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2024. So Jonathan kind of took all of the production on himself, not having that background at all, and having to learn everything there was about lighting and sound and Da Vinci and everything that we're doing now. And it was incredible. Even friends of ours that aren't in this space, but people that work with sound and on TV just gave Jonathan their contacts, right? Jonathan, it was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. I had a friend that was like, "Hey, I have a friend that works for NBC. You know, here's his contact info. Tell him what you're trying to do inside of like a studio arena, and he'll tell you what you need to buy." And I reached out to him, and he's like, "All right." So I was like, your home setup?" And I'm like, "Well, I kind of went a little bit above a home setup." He's like, "Okay." And he told us what to get. I took pictures. We had phone call conversations, and this is just out of the kindness of his heart to get us set up so that we were ready to record in such a short period of time. I think we probably put the studio together in like 6 weeks, something like that. And that's like, buying cameras, buying lighting,
Likes.
buying mics, wiring everything,
My God.
changing a space in our house to hold everything that we're doing, soundproofing, and I had zero knowledge going into it how to do any of this stuff. And so I contacted 3 or 4 different people, and they're all like, I do that for something else. let me help you out. So people have been super, and they're not even in like the TTRPG community,
RBG and
but
CMYK.
TTCMYK.
but
TTCYK.
also just like so helpful, and it pushed us into a place where we could be ready, and we're so thankful for those contacts. And like you guys have been saying, like networking is so huge because you're able to say to that one person that you know, hey, I have a question about this, and they're like, no problem. They're so willing to share their information and their knowledge, and then you pay it forward to the next person that comes past and say, hey, I met this person. And that's how we got in contact with you. We were talking to Nat 20 Dicery, and they came back from the con and they said, you got to talk to this guy Gary, he's awesome. And so
Uh,
here we are, and it's
it's
it's just so great.
it's it's really funny that you bring that up. Not funny, haha, but funny, like interesting. Um, about paying it forward and giving back and just helping each other out. I Last year I joined a Discord server that a friend had started, and um, the goal of that server was to start to build our own industry. It was to provide free mentoring, tutoring, workshops, and classes for artists, for creatives, not just artists, but creatives, writers, everything, all facets of the entertainment industry who wanted to learn. And since we've gone through like a bit of drama with the guy who started it, and now it's he's gone and it's run by myself and a triumvirate of other like-minded individuals who are there to provide help and be sounding boards and be mentors and teachers. And I teach a class on there called creating characters with story or designing characters with story. I don't know the name of my own class. Um,
Not math though.
oh, and we have other people who are interested in teaching once we get up and running. But the goal of this has been not just to have like a free, essentially a free art school, because we know we're all broke. And between the three of us who've been there, I think there's four of us, the five of us that run it currently, and between us, we probably have almost 90 years experience, each doing our own things. There's just a lot, maybe 90 is too high, but it's still a lot. It's like in the 70s or 80s. I don't know. But we're all industry professionals at different stages in our careers. We all have different experiences. And then we've brought in it's blossomed to like over almost 800 people, members online. And it, we try to do it all, and to be a support system and an actual like working community to help bring people together, posting jobs and all this stuff, sharing our successes, sharing stuff for conventions, sharing our artwork, offering feedback. Literally, like one of the guys who built the server, his screen name is Zero. He is so dedicated to helping people that somebody wanted to learn a program called Blender. I don't know if you're familiar with Blender. It's a free 3D program. He's a master of it. And this person went from knowing a little bit to working with Zero in a one-on-one for like 3 or 4 days, honestly, for like 12 hours. And he just taught her everything she needed to know. And she had become like a master of it herself, like just providing that base so that she didn't have to look up tutorials. She had Zero right there to help. And that's the kind of stuff that we want to provide to anybody. And it's not just allocated to artists. There we have writers, we have musicians, we have sound designers, we voice actors, um, all walks of life, all just trying to either get in the industry or continue their careers.
It's
So
incredible. That's really incredible. And if they were to go to a institution to pay for that, it would be tens of thousands of dollars to have that experience, especially with the one-on-one tutoring.
yeah, Yeah.
I I'm fortunate that with Legends of the Tabletop, I've been thrown into some of those creative groups myself, and the connections and the individuals that are in those groups are amazing. I have a group that we're meeting on Monday night, and we're just going through, and we're going to be talking about media and getting set of, getting all of our graphics and everything together for logos and getting a media kit together so that we can use that when we're talking to people and doing
Yeah.
outreach. And a lot of people don't have a media kit or even know what one is or even know how to go about putting one together. But then there's individuals that are in this group on Monday that have been doing this for years and are helping the rest of us put one together for our businesses. We couldn't afford to pay for, as a small business that's just starting out, for someone to come in and teach us that one on one. So
Yeah.
that's a really, really incredible benefit that you have with this group of, you said 800 individuals. That's amazing.
About that much. Yeah. I haven't checked the numbers lately, but it's an open server where anybody who wants to come in, even if you're just a fan of, you know, creative endeavors, anybody's welcome. I would invite you guys if you guys wanted to be a part of it. You're absolutely welcome.
Do it.
That
Um,
sounds amazing.
yeah, I mean, there's we got everybody. Uh, so yeah, we can definitely hook that up for sure, for sure.
Very cool. So, what in all of your different jobs and positions that you have had, was there ever a project or something that you were working on that maybe you were really excited about, but just absolutely did not turn out the way you had hoped? But out of all of that, or through all of that, I should say, you were able to like really learn something that maybe you put into practice going forward.
They says Zen the intergalactic ninja.
What?
Say that again.
I said I'm guessing you're going to say Zen the
Yeah,
intergalactic ninja.
No, actually
No.
yeah.
that
Okay.
no, that was fine. That's been great. No, I'm working
Okay.
with Steve again, actually.
Awesome.
Um, after 20 years we hadn't worked together. We worked on that one project and then started working on a comic that was just ours, but it never worked out because at the time, again, God, what's that word? I sucked. I was not, I was not
What's
as
that
experienced.
word?
I was, I was,
Yeah,
I was
you weren't
not
as
as experienced.
experienced.
Um, and and I reached out to him, and this is not to answer your question. This is actually just a quick aside. I I reached out to him last year because he keeps posting stuff, all these cool events and things that are happening, and where he's taking Zen and the Kickstarters he's doing. He's kept it alive for I don't know how many years, and he's worked with some really amazing artists. Um, and I reached out and I just said, "Hey, it's so cool to see your artwork or your Zen taking off and doing all the things, and just it's cool to see it." And it was just a random message that I hadn't sent him a message in years, and he messaged me back to thank me, and then he said, "Oh, do you remember that?" I don't know if you want me to do an impression from him. He's like an old head from New York, but
Absolutely.
but he's like, "You remember that project that we worked on,
Were you
like
talking to my grandfather?
20 years ago?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I remember." He's like, "Do you want to work on that again?" I'm like, "You know what? I don't have much going on. I don't have any paid gigs. Yeah, let's start it up."
Cool.
So we literally started from scratch, and this is a script that he'd had on his plate for the past 30 years waiting for the right person to come along. And with some updating and a lot of updating because I'm doing all the artwork for it. That's where this graphic novel came from. It's called Voidwalker. Um, and he's like, "I'm fine using the original work for it." And I'm like, "No, oh no, no, sir. That's awful." Um, uh, and he had the script ready. And so I went and I redesigned all the characters and then laid out, it's a 92-page graphic novel, so it's huge.
Wow.
I did all the roughs, I did all the inks. I'm working on finalizing the color, then I'll do all of the lettering. I designed both covers. I designed all the illustrations for the fundraiser we had earlier this year, including and as well as the sticker packs. I did all of the marketing stuff, which I don't do marketing, but I had I had some help from a good friend who helped to make like like really cool
Mhm.
presentations. I did all of our marketing videos. I put those together. Um, yeah, it's been a slog. And while we're not going to see much money from the crowdfunder, it was successful. And then it's just the beginning of that project. Like he's going to show it to some people that he knows for publishing because he's got so many contacts. So it could turn into something hopefully big. Fingers crossed. But that
So cool.
did not answer your question, Sarah.
No, I mean, in a way it did because, right, it was something that you had worked on and then kind of went quiet for many, many years. And then you just did a quick outreach, just, hi, how's it going? And that struck up a conversation, which led you to doing all of this work and this Kickstarter and everything. And there's so much more to come from all of this. So that absolutely did answer my question.
I nailed it accidentally.
A
Sweet,
plus, A plus.
sweet. A for accident.
That's really incredible though. And I mean, again, going back to connections and also just reaching out and saying hello to someone because you never know where those conversations are going to lead.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's there are a number of times like LinkedIn, not to burn LinkedIn, but they haven't. I've never really gotten a job from LinkedIn or really anything from LinkedIn except some cool contacts. And I
Yeah.
encourage younger artists when they're starting out, look for people who are working at the companies that you want to work for and just reach out to them and be like, "Hey, I love your company. Um, uh, I just wanted to connect," that kind of stuff. And you know, I do this and this and this, and I really admire your work. I admire what your company does. Um, and sometimes it bears fruit, but you know, sometimes it doesn't. I remember I had played this video game. It was like an indie game about a spy or something like that, some kind of adventure game with a spy. And I really loved the art style. It was really incredible. I can't remember the name of it, but I was on a uh, like a job site, like for creatives, for the creative industry, and I was just scrolling through other people's names, and I saw this guy named Mark Holmes, who had worked for Pixar and as an AD and all these other companies, and then I saw that he was the AD for this game, and randomly he doesn't know me. I message him. I'm like, "Thank you for making that game. That was such a fun game to play. I really, really loved it. Loved the art style. Loved everything." And he messages me back. He goes, "Oh, thank you so much. Do you want a job?" It was literally like he was like, "Do you want to design some characters?" He had become an art director for a company here in San Francisco. I can't remember the name of the company, but he's like, "We need a character designer, a creature designer." I'm like, "Okay, sure, yeah." So and then he's been my friend ever since. In fact,
It's so
connected
crazy.
he's connected his Discord server, which is doing the same thing that ours is because we're trying to build the same industry. He's connected his server to our server in a way so that we can have our two groups work together. Um, yeah, he's been a friend ever since.
Awesome.
Look at us nerds
I know.
changing the world.
Unite. That's right. That's right.
It's like you're still children, like 5, 6 years
Yeah,
old, and you
it's
just see somebody
exactly
in the
that,
playground. You're
Jonathan.
like, "Hey, want to be friends?" And they're like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Oh my
It's
God,
exactly
it's
that.
exactly that. Yeah, 100%. I've made so many great friends from like conventions. There's one I'm
Hmm.
going to in October at the end of October called Lightbox Expo, which was started by
Mhm.
a guy named Bobby Chu, who has an art school called oh don't put me in the spot. Oh shoot. I'll think of it. I'll think of it. But anyway, he's a huge name in the industry and a respected artist, but he's created this um convention in Pasadena called Lightbox Expo, and it's an industry artist convention. And I've met people for artists from around the world and stayed in touch with them and become friends with so many of them. And it's such a cool experience. But all conventions like that. I mean, I met Bob and Poe at a 1 day convention um, out here in California, and now we become good friends. So yeah, it's once you realize, oh my God, I never have to grow up to do what I want to do. This is
I
awesome. And
know.
you find other people who don't want to grow up.
We're
There you
living
go.
Peter Pan's dream here.
Yeah,
Is never
exactly
growing
right.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Don't tell the
Cons
bags under my eyesight though.
cons are a lot of fun. We went to,
Yeah.
I think our first one was PAX East, right, Jonathan?
East, yeah, was our
PAX
first.
East we went to, and I do the social media and everything for Legends of the Tabletop, and I had been talking to Andy from Dodeca Donuts and a few
I
other
love
people.
Dodeca Donuts.
Yeah.
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 And we started talking to Andy and connected, and he is amazing. And he has been writing and, creating for years before he even started doing the donuts. And
Yeah.
he's incredibly talented, just an awesome person. And we connected on Instagram. And I said, okay, well, are you going to PAX East? And he was like, yeah, come say hello. And I said hello. And it was just like, hey, guys, you guys are Legends of the Tabletop. We had just had shirts made. I think it's the one Jonathan's wearing. And we showed up with all of our Legends of the Tabletop shirts. And we just started having conversations with people that we had just said a quick hello to from a story or something they posted on Instagram. And
Yeah.
now Andy's, one of our friends who he was on our podcast. We have one of his donuts and some other things that we use on our table. We're going to see him at PAX U. Um, it's just amazing. And he was saying at cons, and kind of, what you're saying about Bob and Poe, that you meet people. And when he started out in the industry, he wanted to make pins and he had no idea what he was doing with pins or where to start. And a few of the people at the con he was at were like, oh, I have a guy. I have a guy that does enamel, and you want to do this and work with this person instead. Let me just give you their information.
Yeah. Yeah. I met Andy actually at um Fan Expo San Francisco.
Yep.
He I think it was his daughter who stopped by my table because my table, the stuff that I show is very like whimsical fantasies, and when I try to keep a theme going for my tables where it's very like woodsy, fantastical fairy tale kind of stuff. So I built a tree trunk like out of foam, spray foam, and hand painted, and it's very eye catching. Man, that's a display that I have. Like I put my pins on there,
It's
my 3D
awesome.
prints, all kinds of stuff on there, and it gets a lot of people's attention. And I think his daughter was the first to stop by to find out what the hell the tree was all about. And then she brought her dad. She brought Andy over, and we chatted for a little bit, and then connected on Instagram.
Yeah.
We haven't seen each other since. I think this might have been last year at Fan Expo. But I'm following all of his adventures, and I desperately want one of his donuts. I don't play
So
enough
great.
to warrant owning a donut, and they are understandably expensive, and I'm
Yes.
very broke. So one day, my goal is to own a donut from Andy.
It took us a very long time to save our pennies to get a donut. And I think when we bought ours, I think I was on a wait list for what, 4 months maybe, Jonathan?
Yeah,
It
it was
was when they
similar to
first
that.
started
Yeah.
making them, and I was like, I need to. I saw it at, the first con we went to, and I was like, oh, I need to start stashing away some cash here. And then I was
They're
on a
so cool.
they're beautifully made, and then I was on a wait list for four months. It was like 4 or 5 months, and one came available. And
Oh
I'm
my
I'm so
God.
excited. I know.
It's like you get your adopted pet.
Yeah, I
Oh, it
know.
became available. Yay.
Yay.
I
For only 7 pennies a day. For the
I
next 20 years, you too can have
exactly
one.
right. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it only cost me my firstborn child. Um,
It's worth
I
Worth
it.
it.
worth it for a finely carved wooden donut dice tray. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. They don't have a long time. Oh, that got dark really quick. I'm sorry. Um, I I don't have a lot of dice because like I said, I have enough that I could probably fill a donut. I'm just saying. But right, exactly. And I've only played Dungeons. You are gonna be very disappointed to me. I played Dungeons and Dragons once. Um with So my brother had been trying to get me to play Dungeons and Dragons. He is the DM in the family. He runs games. He used to be on the chair of the board for a convention out of Madison called GeekCon that has since disbanded because a lot of people did not do their jobs well. But he is nerd incarnate. He runs multiple games. He has his entire free life, his entire existence outside of his normal day job is tabletop games. Um, and we worked on a little project together. He had this idea for a new playable race of characters, a domestic, not a domestic, civilized race of owlbear called Hootger, Huutgr. And they're basically they're owl bears, but they are civilized. Like they talk, they have jobs, they have abilities, and I'm like, I want to design those. So he did the write up, and I designed the characters, or like three examples of owl bear. And he put it up on DM's Guild for like $1. He's not making any money off of it, but it's just something he had in his head that he
So
wanted to
awesome.
do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you too can support Robert Laib by buying his Hootker thing from DM's Guild.
All
Let's
Um,
do
right.
it.
um, but one year, I can't, it was a few years back, we went to visit. My wife and I went to visit, and my wife doesn't play TTRPGs either. She doesn't do a lot of gaming. Um, uh, he's like, "Hey, I want to run a one shot for you guys." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, why not? We're gonna be there for long enough. We can take a night and game." And he had our character sheets all written up. He invited one of his friends to come and join. So it was just the four of us sitting around like you do, and he had his dwarven forge set up in the middle of the
Ooh.
table, and oh, he's so into it. And he ran the one shot, and my wife played a barbarian. I can't remember the name was like a sound effect. It was like "Ugh," or something like that. And my wife is from Kyoto, from Japan. And so to have her play this like big burly like barbarian was awesome. And I can't remember what my character was, but yeah, it was like 3-4 hours of running this,
Yeah.
like working, playing this game. And the next day we're like, we have to go buy dice. And
Mhm.
so we he took us to a store in Madison. I'm blanking on the name, but we each bought our own set of dice. So I have a nice set of metal dice with
Uh,
like this
oh,
with like
nice.
this aged patina on it, which looks really, really cool. And yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't get to play. I haven't played since.
So I will be
So
full disclosure. I've drawn as many times as you've played D&D.
That is a
if
fact.
we just if we just bashed our heads together and wiped
Yeah.
away the blood, we would be the ultimate nerd.
Yeah,
That's
Jonathan
amazing.
Jonathan does not draw very
Stick
often.
figures.
Yeah.
Hey, if you can do a stick figure holding a sword, you're good. That's all you
Mhm.
need.
He's proficient at stick figures.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. If you can do one with a shadow, like a cast shadow, it's just drawing the same stick figure at an angle on the ground. That's it.
That's a
Yeah, but
lot. That's a
That's a step
lot.
up.
that's like,
It's
yeah,
a
that's
step up.
stepping it up a whole level,
That's
okay?
a lot.
Join our server. We'll show you how to draw that.
We
Absolutely.
I was seriously nerding out when I was going through your Instagram account,
Yeah.
looking at all of your drawings. I absolutely love, and I think what I loved the most when I was in school was just using graphite. And I think I said to Jonathan, watching you draw really just made me want to sit down and start drawing again because I rarely ever do it.
That's,
I
that's
rarely ever
awesome.
do it. And I said to Jonathan, because you were just showing the little just marks with your graphite pencil, like shading in. And I said that I remember spending like I felt like an entire semester, but an entire class just doing those little tiny marks, just the little tiny scratches, just shading. And I was just like, I need to do more of this. And you had a post recently where you were drawing, and I think it was something to the fact of, how we need to disconnect and just sit down and start drawing and put the graphite pencil to paper and focus on that for a little while and how important that is.
Yeah.
And I don't do it often enough. My grandfather, who's 93 and still draws every day, yells at me on a regular basis because I don't do it. And is that something that you try to do as like a regular practice? Does that help you to maybe shut your brain down for a little bit so that you can be a little more creative, or does it help you relax?
All of the above. Well, I used to do it more often, and then I got so wrapped up in trying to survive, um, you know, trying to find the odd freelance gig where I can. Um, uh, that's pretty much it. Just the eternal quest for money kept getting in the way, and I kept trying to put my name out there and trying to, and I spent more time drawing. I'm pointing to my Cintiq, which is right next to me. You can't see it. Um, but working digitally, that I didn't get the opportunity to do it as much as I wanted to, but it's always there in the back of my head. I have loads and loads of old sketchbooks just filled with artwork. Um, and the trick is that you have to give yourself permission to be like, this is okay to sit down and decompress, sit in a cafe, put on some put on some music, whatever you listen to, and just detach for a little while and just focus on yourself. Um, Most recently, my wife and I took a trip to Scotland, which we super couldn't afford, but we did it anyway. But she had a conference there for like the first 5 days we were there, but we decided to turn it into a vacation. So while she was at her conference, I could have brought my iPad and worked on the comic book while I was there, worked on Voidwalker while I was there, and continued working digitally. And I decided not to do any of that. Um, I'm like I gave myself permission to sit in a cafe every day for 5 days while she was at her conference and just draw whatever I wanted to, work on old illustrations I wanted to finish up, but just pencil to paper draw. And it was cathartic, and it was something I definitely needed. And just giving myself that permission to do that, I think has made a big difference.
Yeah.
Both in my eye sanity, like staring at a screen all day, and and just my mental health, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I sat
Sarah,
outside
go
the
to
other
a
day and I did it.
cafe.
I know.
Yay.
I sat outside, in the Hudson Valley.
Were you in
Um,
the Hudson Valley? Oh
we're in
my
the Hudson
God.
Valley, and I sat outside
My
and I
God.
just sat and I sketched. I have a vegetable garden with raised beds, and I just sketched the old like wood cedar boxes. And it was just, I was so relaxed, and I'm not
Yeah.
a very relaxed person. And it
It's
was just, it
cathartic.
shut my brain down. It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
I think everybody should do it, even if you don't draw on a regular basis, Jonathan.
I
It's
doodle.
something where you can just take the pressure off and not stare at a screen, and I don't know, there's something, it's sometimes it's meditative, sometimes you do it with friends. I have another personal Discord server that I started for local artists, Bay Area Art Mob, where I started it during the pandemic. If you guys remember the pandemic, no, um,
I heard something about it.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It
It
didn't
was.
reach
Is it a
the
It
band?
probably didn't reach the Hudson Valley.
it
Probably
didn't.
It
not.
didn't reach the Hudson Valley because we're up
Yeah,
here in the Hudson Valley. We're really
with
protected
our raised vegetable gardens.
with our vegetable gardens.
um, but we use it as an excuse because we miss being in each other's company, and we use it as a way to connect, and also to plan events where we would get together in San Francisco, find a cafe, and sit and draw and chat and catch up and grab lunch and all that stuff. Um, and having been cooped up for so long and finally seeing each other in person, it was like a creative cathartic release. It was awesome. It was awesome. So keep drawing, Sarah.
I
Jonathan,
know.
Start drawing, Jonathan. Not keep.
Start
keep
trying.
keep drawing keep drawing Jonathan, Sarah.
I'll try.
She paints me like one of her French whores.
I don't think the word was whore. think I think the word was girl.
I'm pretty sure it was girl.
Yeah.
I
Jonathan,
guess. I
what
took a
is your
leap of faith.
job again? I'm a woman of ill repute in Hudson Valley. I'm a woman of the night.
Where's your hat, Jonathan? Oh God.
Right behind
Behind
him.
me.
You can't miss it. It's right behind him.
That's how we can pick him out on the streets. It's the big hat. That's how we know which one Jonathan is.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Keep drawing. I know. My
Keep drawing.
grandfather really, I'm not even kidding. Every time I see him, one of his first questions is, "So have you been drawing lately? Have you been drawing?
Yeah.
Have you?"
Now
And
you
I
can
said
say
no.
yes.
And I say no. And he's
But
so disappointed.
you just got to message him and be like, yes, now I've drawn.
If
Yeah.
I tell him that I did, he will be just like over the moon. Because I do
Well,
miss it.
we'll do it.
I
Sarah,
know.
do it.
I know. I know. All right. All right. All right. All right. I'll do it. I'll do it.
I mean, to be honest, I don't allow her to have any free time.
That
And
is
so,
true.
That's
it's
fair.
like,
That is
hey,
true.
we got to push something to YouTube or Instagram like 5 minutes
Mhm.
ago. There was
Mhm.
this one night, it was like right after the end of like Sunday night football. So it's like almost like 11:30 on our time. And I saw a clip and I was like, this would be a great meme. And Sarah's like going to bed. I'm like, you need to make this a meme right now. And I didn't let her go to sleep until the meme was done. So
He's the
that's
worst
her life.
boss.
So
Wow.
Who can I
Wow.
message to get a new job?
Go to Newwood.
Call me.
Yeah, you bet. I've got all the
Oh, this
jobs
just
lined up.
really aged me too. I don't think does
It really did. Yeah.
yeah.
It would have aged you more if you were like, hello,
exactly. Well,
Rotary
hello
phone.
there.
operator.
Hello.
Connect me
You
to
call me
number
here.
1, please.
It's a yeah, the party line. Just knowing that makes me sound old.
Feel like I'm older than both of you.
I
Not put
Probably
together,
not.
but
doubt that very
are
much.
you
You
Mid
know,
step?
40s. I'll put my age out there. Mid 40s.
I'm 46.
Okay. I'm 44.
I win.
we're right there. But it's it's the Hudson Valley that keeps their skin so dewy.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's
I've
the
heard that
fog.
before about the Hudson Valley. Yeah. Well, we have
It's the
fog in the
fog
Bay
from
Area
the
too. Our fog has a name. It's Carl. So with a K. Carl with a
with a
K.
obvious yeah, obviously, because Carl with a C. Now I'm saying this, my grandfather's name is Carl
With a C.
with a C.
Sorry,
Although
Carl.
a lot of people think he says Paul when he introduces himself. He kind of has like an old New York accent.
Mm,
Do it.
I can't really do that because it's weird. It's like Paul. It's like he says Paul. Call. My name's
Paul.
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 My name's
Yeah.
Paul.
Very lazy.
Yeah. I like
He
him.
also says things like boy, like or Earl. Like if you gotta put Earl in your car.
You
I
got to
don't know.
put
It's
Earl in
weird.
your car.
Earl. Earl. It's weird. It's very
I'm
strange.
Earl. Hi.
Hi, Earl. How you doing?
I am Earl. I
Can
need a
you tell?
baby seat.
Gotta get a baby with. Gotta get a cigar for that baby. That's what you gotta do.
Yes, that's right. Full circle.
I mean, well, we didn't really talk much about this, but you do a lot of VO work.
I wouldn't say a lot. I wouldn't say a lot.
A little,
But
some,
I
maybe.
started doing so
Level.
my degree is in theater actually. And when I moved to LA, that was my main goal, was to become an actor. Lo and behold, you need a lot of money to become an actor. You have to take classes, you have to get headshots, you have to do this, that, and the other thing. And it's an entire career to get into your career. Um, and I couldn't afford any of that. And so I did a few indie films that were not awesome, not great. Uh, and then I stopped. I put acting on the side and tried to focus on the few things that I knew I could do better,
Yeah.
which was art. One of which was art. And it wasn't until, well, a pandemic. I'd wanted to be a voice actor for a long time, and then my wife had also wanted to get into acting, and she's a therapist. She has her own private practice out of the house, and she'd always wanted to try acting, and so she'd started researching classes and taking acting classes, and now she has a couple agents and is doing gigs here and there when she can. But she
Cool.
found an ad for voice acting classes through a place called the Global Voice Acting Academy here in the Bay Area, and they were having a discounted thing. I can't remember what it was, but I got to have classes. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So I started during the pandemic, um, did some training, got demos recorded, started put a website together, um, and set up my fart palace. Um,
Mhm.
you're like, yes, fart palace,
Mhm.
we get it.
Yep, Fart Palace. Yep, yep.
Stop saying fart palace, Gary.
No, it's
Uh,
title of
Jonathan's
the
in one in the
episode.
base. Jonathan's in one in the studio because we have the same kind of blankets.
Yeah.
So that's
oh,
also,
okay.
yeah,
Mhm.
modified Fart Palace. Yeah.
Well, not behind me currently, but yes.
Certainly.
Eh,
Um, eh, but um, but yeah, I the few gigs that I had gotten were really small gigs that I'd reached out to people because they were looking for voice actors, and I've done I have an agent. I haven't really done anything with this agent in a while. But they were putting together this radio play podcast. Um, and so I was a part of a couple seasons of that. And then I did a radio play with my vocal coach, like a historical radio play. Um, I've done more radio plays than anything. I've lended my voice to a couple of like independent game projects, and then most recently there's a group of group of creative nerds also building like doing D&D, creating D&D modules, which I'm doing art directing for. We're all volunteering our own time to do it. Um, but they also have a podcast radio plays called Fables of the Forgotten, which are fantasy D&D adventure, stories, and they bring in professional voice actors, which from around the world, and they have and again, everybody's volunteering their time, and so I auditioned for their most recent season, and so I was cast in an upcoming episode. I don't know when it's upcoming, but it will be upcoming soon. Um, so that's one of the things that I've been working on.
That's very
You
cool.
sound like you have that old time
Hmm.
radio voice.
Do I? Shall I
Yeah.
talk more like that?
Yeah.
My
That's it.
transatlantic voice.
Yeah.
Oh, I one thing I forgot. There's one of my friends is a musician. Her name is Kaisa. Um, and she does pop music, dance music. She does all kinds of stuff, but that's what she loves to do is music. And she was releasing her an album last year, like one song at a time. But she's like, I want to have radio plays in between each release of the song, and I want them to connect because the whole album is going to tell a story of this character. Um, and we made it like she's like, do you want to write these radio plays? I'm like, yes, I do. And she had
Say less.
she had a friend that she had met, and she meets crazy, like massively successful people. And this guy, I think he was a producer on um the Umbrella Academy. I think
Mm.
that's right. Something like that. But just fantastic people. And so it was just the three of us doing these radio plays. He would do the voice direction, and I would do the writing with their help with edits back and forth. And then I think I ended up over the course of 5 or 6 plays, I did maybe 11 to 12 voices, voicing different characters. But I was also the announcer, which was also a transatlantic accent. And at the end of each episode, I would write a ridiculous commercial. And the first commercial that I wrote was for a product called Baby Rets, cigarettes for babies.
Here we go.
And yeah, and it was all
Please go.
it was all Baby Rets, cigarettes for babies. Got a colicky baby at home? Try Baby Rets now with 40% more tobacco. Um, and yeah, each episode had like a more and more ridiculous commercial, because if you look at old-timey commercials, they're like, here, try this, it's radioactive. Um,
I think I
And
just saw
yeah, yeah,
one, a tin for like throat lozenges, and it was like cocaine and elderberry. That's
yes,
cool.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, great. And there was one. It was, oh shoot, we did one for like a toothpaste that also had like lead in it or something that I can't remember. And then we had one that was the episode takes place in some northern Midwestern state, not Utah, north. What's a north in the Midwest? I'm trying.
Like
I'm blanking.
Michigan,
More in the
Illinois,
middle,
Wisconsin.
more
Yeah,
in
you're
the
from
middle of the
Wisconsin.
country. No, it's definitely not
Uh,
Wisconsin. More in the more.
Ohio.
Nope, farther
Like
to the left.
Mason-Dixon line?
Past that.
Oh,
I can't. Anyway, in Dakota, maybe a Dakota.
okay, one of
And
the
and
Dakotas.
and the
Jonathan, are you
commercial
looking it up right now?
I trying to.
the commercial was just for rocks because that's what everyone imagines. It's North Dakota's biggest export. It's rocks. Get your own rocks today. And it was just a stupid commercial. I'll have to share it with you guys sometimes. But if you look up Kieza, Kiesza on YouTube, they're all there. All the
Well,
episodes are there on
maybe
her
I'll be
channel.
listening to after this wraps up today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, super fun to do.
Making dinner and
So
listening to some old-timey radio ads.
yeah, but that's mostly what I've been doing is if for anything for voiceovers, radio ads, radio plays. So
Very cool. Very cool.
yeah, yeah.
Well, Gary, it's
And you
been
draw.
and you draw, just a little thing drawing. It has
Oh,
been
yeah.
really great chatting with you, at
Thanks
you.
for thanks for talking at me,
Uh-huh. Yep, you're
Sarah.
welcome. Yeah, anytime. Just stop
Yeah.
talking so I can keep talking. That's fine. Thank you so much. Um, thank you so much for chatting with us today. Before we wrap up, I have four just silly rapid fire questions, I guess, for
Okay.
you, Gary. I don't know. Are you ready?
No, but go ahead.
Okay. Any secret hidden talents not related to art?
Not related to art. I can make fart noises with my hands.
That's a talent. That's a skill. Do you have one for us? Is that a silent but
Okay.
deadly?
Oh, you can't hear it? Oh, maybe my mic's
No.
not picking it up. Oh, that's too bad.
It's
No,
okay.
you know what?
Heard
You know,
that one.
yeah.
I heard
Good.
the last one. Yeah.
You
It's
gotta
just
hear it. You gotta hear it in public.
They're
It's
the best
yeah,
spots.
yeah.
Which fictional universe would you last the least amount of time in?
Anything with zombies,
Anything
immediately
with
dead.
zombies. Okay. Me,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good to know.
And not for lack of trying, just my survival instincts are at an all-time low. Um,
Hmm.
I like hugs too much.
Hmm. Yeah. I heard they're good at giving hugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a food that you pretend to love but secretly hate
No,
or addiction?
I'm very open about the food that I don't like.
Okay.
It's limited. I'll try anything once. I do not like eggplant. And it's not so much it's more it's not so
the
much
emoji.
like it's not so much about no, the actual vegetable. It's not so much um the taste so much as it is the
Texture?
texture, the flavor, and the taste. I hate eggplant. I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't know why. I wish I did, but
All eggplant. Hard no. Hard pass.
hard pass.
Okay.
I don't like math either. Hard pass on eating
Hard
math.
pass on math and eggplant. And clearly, we're not very good at the United States layout where everything is.
Right, geology.
Yeah, no, we're not good at that either. Last question from me. Do you have a favorite 80s movie?
Oh my God. A favorite 80s movie. I have too many favorite 80s. I love so many 80s movies. Goonies was a big one for me.
This
I
is
loved
good.
Goonies because I have always wanted to be on like a coming of age adventure. In fact, because I know I'm gonna get transported to another world like an isekai at some point in my life. I want to have that coming of age adventure where you know, like the the boy who figures out he's got this cool special ability, but Goonies was huge for me. I loved that, you know, it was that whole crew that was in that film was fantastic.
Mm,
That's a huge one for me. Ghostbusters was also big too. Sorry, you said one
Ghostbusters,
and
yeah.
I'll add a little
No,
too.
Fun.
no, Jonathan and I were talking about 80s movies the other day and shouting out some of our favorites, classics.
There's so many good
I
ones.
know.
Anything with John Candy in it too.
Oh, John Candy. He was a
Yeah,
national treasure.
he was a Canadian national treasure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, any final words? Do you want to give yourself some shout outs, tell the people where to find you, what projects you have coming up?
Right. It's a laundry list. You ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Oh,
Okay. So my friend Chris Wilhelm and I are starting our journey doing conventions more full time. We are going to be at LA Comic Con at the end of this month under the banner of Skyhurst Studios. So Chris is also a 20-year vet of the art industry. He's an art director. He's an incredible artist himself, an illustrator. So we have joined forces to start really promoting our own work, promoting our own worlds. He does comic books. He writes. He's an amazing artist. So we decided we're going to join forces. So we'll be at LA Comic Con in the small press area. Um, I think it's SP34 is our table number. Come and say hi. Um, we already talked about Voidwalker. I'm on the path to finishing that. I'm on page 70 of 92. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Uh, I mentioned my book, which I think I gave you the logo for. It's called Roon The White Raven, is the first book in the series. I
awesome.
will I will be kickstarting that. The first book is written. It's done. I just need to finish the illustrations for it. But I need to be able to support myself while I do that. So I'll be kickstarting that. Hopefully, the goal is to do that sometime in the fall. Um, I have started a commissions page on a website called artistry.io. Um, and yeah, I do commissions for people who need character design for your D&D campaigns. If you want to like a fantasy, to turn yourself into a fantasy portrait, that kind of stuff. I love doing that kind of stuff. So I can send you guys the link to that if you want.
Yes.
Um, I put up a couple coloring books for sale on Amazon, which I don't know why it took me so long, but they are fantasy focused coloring books called Creature Coloring Compendiums. And that's all of my original fantasy creatures and characters in line art, so you can color to your heart's content. Um, and what else? Oh, a Patreon. I started a Patreon. And the rewards for that are gonna be there's three different tiers, and the rewards for that. I literally started this last week, so I'm crap at promoting it. But, but free high res illustration, digital images, um, Photoshop brushes, behind the scenes like process videos,
Mhm.
all hopefully all kinds of good voting for the next creature or character type you want me to
Very cool.
design, whether it's from the entertainment or the like a pop figure in or a figure out of pop culture or a piece of fan art or whatever, or from Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, so I have all of that going on to try to keep myself afloat.
So awesome. And we'll be sure to put all of that information
So much.
below in the podcast, which Jonathan does all the post production and this airs on YouTube. So again, Gary, thank you so, so much. We really had an amazing time
Me
chatting with you
too.
today. Thank
Oh, it
you.
was super, super fun. It went by too quick.
It did. It went by really quick, and we could probably keep talking, but we have to wrap up. You have work and art and things to create, and Jonathan, I'm sure, has something to do in the dungeon with post production. But
Right. Or
while
to wear a big hat.
or to wear a big hat and walk the streets
That's right.
like my French girl. Um, but don't But don't forget, well, for everyone that's watching, to head over to check out our friends at eldritch-foundry.com. Be sure to go over to their page, look at all of the incredible minis that they have. You can use our cheat code cheesebags15 to receive 15% off your order, because your character isn't basic and your mini should not be either. And that wraps up another episode of the Parking Lot Podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, ring the bell so you'll know when another episode of the podcast drops. Don't forget to show Gary some love, follow him, connect with him on social media, go buy his books on Amazon, Patreon, do all the things. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see all of you on another episode of the Parking Lot Podcast.
See
Stay
ya.
fresh, cheese bags.